All right. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Super excited to be with you today. This is going to be an extraordinary call. And whether you're on live or watching the replay, we're just super excited that you get to hear this information. We have Dr. Brett Brimhall that's going to be joining us. I'm Sean Poe. We've got Michelle Poe here. We're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And this information, you guys, absolutely transformed our life. And LifeVantage is the activation company. We started back a while ago with Protandim NRF2, which activates the NRF2 pathway in the body. And the company did not stop there. Since then, we found lots of different ways that you can upregulate and downregulate different things inside of the body, getting the body to maximize the potential to do what it's designed to do. And we've been seeing for over a year now, amazing things that are happening when people are adding liquid collagen from LifeVantage into their health strategy. And we brought Dr. Brett Brimhall on here to explain the why behind what it does and all the goodness that's happening inside of your body and on the outside. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Michelle to kick it off and intro Brett.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight, for taking time out of your schedules. The information that you're going to learn tonight is not only going to bless your heart, but it's going to empower you to go out and share this gift with others. Because as we know here, this is a gift, yes, to share with the world. And as Sean said, we have Dr. Brett Brimhall, who is such a blessing, literally to every single person that he meets and touches. He serves in the greatest ways. He and his gorgeous wife, Holly, have been married since 1996. Look at that smile on his face. I love watching him. And they have 4 wonderful children who are his heart and soul. They live in beautiful, hot Arizona, where he has been in chiropractic since 2001. Dr. Brimhall trains hundreds and hundreds, I would say thousands of healthcare providers all over the world since 1995, a system of wellness care that he and his father have pioneered called the 6 Steps to Wellness. Who here has heard of the Brimhall method? All across the nation and the world, I've heard of the Brimhall method. People that didn't even know Dr. Brett, they're like, you know Dr. Brett Brimhall? You know his father and him? Wow. People literally, you guys, moved to be seen by him. And I'm telling you, we were with him again this past month. And I'm like, why do I not fly down to Arizona monthly to be treated by this man? Because he's so incredible. Part of that system, he trains nutritional supplements, chiropractic tools, and techniques, and that are integrated in functional healthcare. In 2014, he had a paradigm shift when he saw changes in a patient that he had worked with for over a year with a breakthrough technology known as nutrigenomic activation, which is what we have here, right? He is a member, thank goodness gracious, of the Scientific Advisory Board here at LifeVantage, which is a publicly traded company who is ringing the bell, the closing bell at the NASDAQ, and is sharing this life-changing science and opportunity with the world. His name means the world. His integrity is beyond words, and we are gifted to have him here tonight, and again, to arm us all with this information of not only Protandim NRF2, our activating products, but the blessing that we now have with activated liquid collagen. So Dr. Brett Brimhall, I'm seeing some people clapping. We welcome you. We thank you for being here. Before we get started with anyone, is there anything that you'd like to say to kick it all off?
I'm just grateful to be here. I remember the first time I kind of showed up. I actually showed up at Sean and Michelle's house before I really got going. And I was kind of wondering what I got myself into. Forever, people would talk to me about sharing products, and we would always create the ones that we wanted. But when you see a change in a young man that I couldn't do anything else with and watched him unfold in front of my eyes, you just couldn't deny that. So if you're wondering why you're here, you kind of think back at how you ended up here, just hold on tight. My life is vastly different. My ability to help people is vastly better because of what we now have our hands on. And so just a couple key concepts I want you to lock in your mind right now, just as we get going, because you're gonna hear some phenomenal stories. You're gonna wonder, will this help me? Will this help a friend of mine? Is it possible that I could have hope again? Well, you will, especially if you understand this. But I want you to know the really cool thing about the body is you don't have to understand how it works. You really don't. Like, that's one of the most amazing things about it. We only think about our bodies when they don't work. Like, we only think about our relationships when they don't work. So with what we have our hands on, we are no longer guessing about how we can allow our body to heal like it's supposed to. There's a couple key concepts. One, the body wants to be better. It wants to heal itself. It has the power within it to do so. The main thing is we have to remove the interference that's in its way. And then we have to understand that there are ways to turn on the right switches. And so as you hear the different stories, we'll kind of talk through a little bit of the science. To keep it simple, bottom line is you don't have to understand all this to get the benefit. But you're going to hear some concepts. And just as I challenge you, please, and please write down the names of people that come to your mind and your heart as we go through this process, because they're put on your heart for a reason. And maybe this is something that could help them, give them that chance. So just excited to hear the stories and kind of maybe walk through some of the why we're seeing what we're seeing.
Amazing, Dr. Brett. Thank you. So just to kind of let you all know what we're going to be doing tonight, we're going to be sharing some stories. Stories are so powerful. And like what Dr. Brett said, is hope. Who here wants hope in their life again? And who needs it? The world needs it. So we're going to be sharing some stories tonight of some individuals. And then Dr. Brett is going to share the why behind it. Isn't that great to have his knowledge? So Sean, do you want to share quickly that first video, and then we're going to head over to Courtney. And I have to apologize up front. I'm going to keep some of the introductions a little more brief than I normally would to edify, but it's because we have so many incredible stories that we want to get to and the why behind them tonight.
Hi, my name is Catherine Smith. I've been using the collagen for just over a month now, and I've had a sour stomach my whole life, and within 7 days I could feel a difference within my gut. Within 15 days my sour gut was gone. So needless to say, I will be on this for the rest of my life.
All right, amazing. Miss Courtney Dawson, if you are available and can unmute, we would love for you to do that. Who here knows somebody that needs some gut improvement? Just go ahead and say hello. There she is. Welcome, Courtney. We can't wait to hear from you. And I know you can relate a little bit with that Catherine story.
I can. And when she says she's on it for life, I am with her 1,000%. My story, Michelle, started in my, probably late 20s is when it all started. My body was wreaking havoc on me and I was no longer in control. Like, there was pirates on my ship, and it took me many doctor visits and many over-the-counter products that I didn't know what I was taking. It's been nothing short of a miracle for me. And Dr. Brett hit it on the head. When you are not thinking about your body, that's when you know that things are working efficiently. I couldn't leave the house on a daily basis. I couldn't make plans. I am a working mom who worked full time. I'm a wife. I'm an employee. I'm a sister. I play so many different roles, and my body was not allowing me to function at maximum capacity and really do any of those roles well, because I had to plan around, when is my next trip to the bathroom? When am I going to feel good enough? And so I was diagnosed with both IBS and interstitial cystitis, which is way fun, And so started on the Tri-Synergizer and probiotic, really effective for me. And in fact, there were many times I noted that I had not thought about my stomach, which was a blessing. But last June, I started on the collagen when it came out. And I am telling you, it was, not only was I already healing my body, but things got strangely calmer. Things felt like I could do anything. I can spend a whole day on a boat now, and I don't have to contemplate, is this going to be okay for me? Is this going to, is my day going to be interrupted? It's the most wonderful feeling to not have to think about your body and just let it work on cruise control. It's working at where God intended it to. And so I think that that's what we need to be always remembering, is that when you're actually not thinking about things and letting your body rule your world, that's when you know it's working at, optimum efficiency. And so I'm so thankful to the scientists who know enough about the body that created this product for me and now my family. And so my life is back. I have my life back. I can do anything I want. I can walk for 10 miles a day. I have the energy and the drive to do it all. And for so many years, I just couldn't do it. So the collagen was kind of like the icing on the cake for me.
I love it. I love it. So Dr. Brett, let us know what's going on here.
Well, a couple of things that I love that you said on that is that both from the video we saw and what Courtney just explained, is you heard him say, like, within 7 days, like, my sour stomach started to change, and then like 15 days, I know I do this forever, right? So just think about the last time you had a sunburn. Like, how long did it take for it to cool that down? So just so you know, like, we talk about the skin a lot with the collagen. Well, your intestinal tract has the same membrane as your skin. And so it takes that period of time to heal. And what I love about what Courtney said, guys, is understand that when you go to the doctor, they're trying to give you a name of a disease process going on, to give you a diagnosis, to give you a treatment. But at the end of the day, like what you told me, Courtney, is like, it was changing your life, your ability to go do the things you want to do. You had your plan your life around how your body might perform versus do your life. Right. So what these products do, specifically the collagen, the protandim, the nerve 2, the trisynergizers, is they're naturally activating the body's normal processes to repair, to produce energy, and to have the cells communicate appropriately. And then you apply the collagen, in which the collagen's main job is to create the structure to help the barrier membranes of our body, skin being the one you can see, to be able to work as it should, which means to let things in that need to go in and not let things in that should not go in. And so for her, that, like the sour stomach you were hearing, and the thing that she was saying about just having to like go to the bathroom, and then also they talked about the interstitial cystitis where the bladder is not working right. It's all the same tissue type, right? So what's great about this, it doesn't matter, you may not even know it yet. You might just feel kind of off, feel a little like, I just don't want to eat, I just don't feel hungry. Yeah, that's all indications that there's irritation of the pirates, right? The pirates go in array in your cells. And in medicine, we might call that autoimmunity, right? All that means is the body is not doing or not working or not communicating the way it's supposed to, right? So the great thing is like, if you can turn on the body ability to repair, make more energy, and cellular communicate, and then you give the body the actual nutrients it can absorb to repair those membranes, that's why Courtney feels like she does.
Incredible. Thank you, Dr. Brett. Thank you, Courtney. That was such a gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I keep seeing Mr. John Glasser pop up on my screen. So that just means to me, we've got to pop right over to him. So John, if you can unmute, he's a dear friend here in the Sioux Falls area. We're so grateful and glad that you're here. If you can share what you and your wife recently noticed with yourself, that would be incredible.
Yeah, I will keep it short. Can you all hear me okay?
We can. Yes. Thank you.
Beautiful. You're welcome. Yeah. So I almost died in 2021, January 15th, in the hospital with COVID, blood clots in my calf and my lung. And this amazing lady, Dorothy Tororist, introduced me to Protandim, which really helped uncloud my memory and brain fog. It was transformational from that perspective. And I started to lose my hair after COVID as well, as many other complications happened, but I survived. I can tell you about that whole experience later, but got on Protandim, got on Axio, got on Daily Wellness. So I've been on those things since. And I sat down with this guy named Troy Laggy, and he's like, hey, I look so much younger. You know why? Because I'm taking collagen. So that was a little bit of a convincing to go, all right, I want to try this and see what happens. So my wife and I got on it, been on it for 2 months, really to like, hey, do you think this could help me regrow some hair and get rid of some wrinkles? Just like Troy, I want to look like him. I want to be like him when I grow up. And it did start working that, but a result that was pretty amazing. Went to the doctor this weekend to prove it, but my pants started to look like they're shrinking and they're expensive Levi's. So I went to the doctor and I grew a 1/2 inch, and that's straight up from collagen. So it's had a lot of benefits, but that was just an amazing, like, what is going on with my body? So I had to buy new jeans. There you have it.
Incredible. So it
Brett.
was super funny. We were with his wife this last week and she shared that story with us. And then I went to Dr. Brett and I said, this is what happened to my friend. In my head, it was making sense, but I'm like, could this be? And he said, oh, yes. And then John his wife was sharing some pictures of some nice hair growth as well. So that's super cool. So Dr. Brett, tell us why, after being on Protandim and all these things, and then getting on activated liquid collagen, he needs some new pants.
Yeah, well, it's worth things to buy, right?
Yes, he grew.
And it's fun to try to figure out why the body does what it does. Like, and that's the most amazing thing to me. Like, you can't really describe love, right? You can experience it. And so there's sometimes in medicine, we're always trying to like understand, like, what are we seeing? What are we experiencing? So it's possible to experience things that maybe science hasn't caught up to explain quite yet. But let me give you a little understanding of what I believe is happening inside of you, right? So let's just make the concept of aging super simple. Aging is basically losing loss of function. All right. So you talk about skin, when it ages, it loses the loss of function. And we can see that by wrinkles and dryness and cracking, right? And we can see that process. But what that means, if that skin's aging, it can't keep things out that need to stay out. It can't keep things that need to stay in. So you're going to lose the moisture and the hydration. And so you're going to have all that appearance. Well, here's a newsflash. Your body really, when you're going through a major crisis, let's just say you have a lot of bills, which one are you going to pay? You're going to pay the one that keeps you in your house. Right. And so when the body has to make decisions based upon which tissue is most important, it's going to sacrifice your hair, your skin, your nails, the disc in your back, over your heart, over your lungs, over your brain. It's just going to. So if somebody's feeling like a foggy thought process, well, that's aging process probably going on in brain. Right. And why do we age? We age because there's way too much inflammation going on. Your body can't make enough energy to repair the process. There's too much damage going on, or the cells are not communicating. That's the simple. So when you think about the tri-synergizer, that's what it does. It works with the control, regulating that inflammatory response by increasing more enzymes to help it like break down. And here's the sucky part. As we age, we make less collagen and we make more of the enzymes that break the collagen down. That's what happens. And so that's the aging process sped forward. And so when you have an infection or irritation or high level of stress, that speeds that process up. So when you said the thing about gaining height, what's great about our collagen, there's 10 different types of collagen. And some of those types are actually found and needed for your disc of your back. They're needed for the ligaments of your spine. They're needed for your skin. So so what's happening is the reason why you're seeing a change in your hair is there's other things changing on the inside, so where there's more repair happening than breakdown. And so your body's hydration is happening not only in your skin and your hair, what you're seeing, but it's actually happening in your disc, which is why your height. You'll be tallest first thing in the morning. And then as gravity works on you, you'll shrink over time. Now, how spongy those discs are, how hydrated they are, how well they can hold on to that moisture will determine your height. So the great thing about what you said, though, is guys will now take this. Right? Teenagers will now take this, right? Because like, oh, I want to be taller, right? So not only from the beauty state, but that's the key, what's happening inside of us. And we age, if we lose hydration, we lose elasticity and we get brittle. So that's really cool.
Isn't that incredible? He gained a 1/2 inch. And John, I will have to share with you that you look incredible. That before and after picture we can get out to everybody is truly incredible. So thank you so much for taking the time to bless us tonight. Appreciate you so much. I know that's just a tiny bit of your story, like everybody here. So thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to pop over to a beautiful soul named Dr. Jen. Dr. Jen is an incredible soul and chiropractor. And because of where we are today with what we have, she's able to continue doing what she's doing. And I'll let her share that story. So Jen, if you could unmute and share what's been going on in your world, that would be beautiful, please.
Hey guys, Dr. Jennifer here. So I have been a prenatal and pediatric chiropractor for 8 years now. And in the last 5 years, I would notice that my wrists would get sore off and on. And then within these last couple of years, between working out and adjusting, I was having to get my wrist adjusted 3 times a week and wrap them with KT tape, and they were still sore. And it scared the heck out of me because I love adjusting families. I have created like lifelong relationships with my patients. And I had been taking collagen since I was in my 20s. I started with powdered collagen. And then as soon as I learned about the benefits of liquid collagen, I switched over to numerous liquid collagens, and my wrist still hurt, but I kept taking it because I knew, like, I know this is my ligaments. Like, I know this is what I need to be doing. And then in March, I met a beautiful human, Jillian Fisher, and she shared this collagen with me. And ever since I've been taking it, literally, I have not had wrist pain once since. And I've been adjusting more people every week, and I have had more energy. So I started the Tri-Synergizer and the collagen, and I will be doing this for the rest of my life and sharing it with as many people as I can, because it has been life-changing for me, and I know it's life-changing for so many of my patients too.
Love, love, love that. So Dr. Brett is also a chiropractor. As chiropractors, if your hands and your wrists aren't working well, it kind of impacts your job. So Brett, why is this helping?
Yeah, that's awesome. And real quick, Dr. Jen, how long had you been on collagen that before the liquid collagen? It's since your 20s, so how long?
So 18 years.
18 years, okay. And how long after you started taking the Nerve 2, the Tri-Synergizer and the collagen, did you start noticing a difference?
Within a week, for sure.
Okay, all right. So I love your story, by the way, and I think that's what that, you know, at the core of who we are as chiropractors, like, we just can't help but touch people. We just love to work on people and to touch their hearts and touch their bodies, and we just love working with them. And when you can't do that, and not only, like, imagine if you had an injury and you couldn't go, like, you just keep doing it. So how many of you are out there, maybe you're having to get more physical body work than you think you need to, right? And just to keep going. And that could be massage, that could be chiropractic, that could be PT, any of those things, or you've had to change careers because of the pain you have. A colleague of mine just the other day started the collagen just a week ago because we had this conversation. Like, he hurts too bad, and so he's considering getting out of practice because he hurts too much. And so here's the amazing thing about what she noticed is that she was doing the right thing. She was taking supplements. She was taking collagen based upon the knowledge we have, which is we're trying to replace the deficiency. But it wasn't a deficiency, it was not activated. And so what LifeVantage does that's phenomenally unique is that they understand and are looking for the switches in the body, we call them genes, that regulate how the body makes energy, how it produces what's called enzymes that help your body repair faster, how the same cells communicate, and specifically how the body makes collagen. Like, there are certain assembly lines in your body that make collagen. So yes, you need the right ingredients, but if those assembly lines aren't turned on, that's a problem. And what happened to Dr. Jen is when she started taking that activated form of collagen, she was taking collagen, and probably good collagen, but it was not activated. So LifeVantages had ruby red quinoa in it. And that extract turned on the assembly line, or the ovens of your body, or known as the fibroblasts. Those are little cells. Those are the ovens in your body that makes not only your collagen, but what's called elastin. These are different things that make your skin elastic. It also makes what's called the extracellular matrix, which allows you to be hydrated, allows your skin to be hydrated. So for her, within a week, she began to notice, and not only what she said was, she then started having more energy. So her body was running on max to do everything it could just to keep up. So it wasn't repairing, it was just getting by. And so when you can get the body to regulate differently, and you give it what it needs, and then you turn on the ovens to make it, it's a vastly different experience. So I love that. I'm grateful you're out there practicing. That's awesome. And for 18 years, you've been taking good products that is not activated. That's the reality of what we have our hand on. LifeVantage is making activated products that work on, if you're a mammal, your genes to activate health. Awesome.
Chills, Dr. Brett. Thank you for that. And Dr. Jennifer, thank you. Wow. And I know that you being able to bless, I know Jillian was in with her family recently and is in there regularly. To have somebody that can help take care of families is a need. And I know that fills your soul too. So thank goodness for LifeVantage and activated products. Yes, you guys, my goodness gracious. So thank you, Jen. And we're going to pop over to another chiropractor, Dr. John Jelinek from North Dakota, who is a very dear friend who also has a powerful story. So let's hear it, Dr. John, please. Thank you.
Yeah, chiropractors get injured too, right? Sean, you can add low back pain to that one as well. And I've been practicing, I'm coming on 19 years of practice for me up here in North Dakota. Little did I know a few years ago, I would go through my low back pain experience. I injured my lower back about 5-6 years ago working out at the gym. And prior to that, I should start with this, is I've been on these products since 2012. So I've been taking Protandim Energy F2 since 12. And then when all the products come out, I'm usually taking them all when they are launched. So I've been on them for quite a long time. But 5-6 years ago, I injured my back. I herniated a disc in my lower back. Something I do not want to ever experience again. I had, I couldn't even bend over. I couldn't sit. I remember driving to my in-laws for Christmas. I had to lay down in the car. I couldn't even drive. Couldn't bend over, couldn't play hockey with my kids. Crawling out of bed, trying to walk in the middle of the night because you can't sleep because of the pain. I mean, it's absolutely awful. I was this close for going in for surgery. I was getting to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. I had it flare up twice on me, and it truly is awful. I did get the pain to go down to a certain degree. But what I would always get is I would get a pain down my leg, like somebody was squeezing my calf muscle with a vice grip when I would sit down. And I was always have to stand up and move. Now, the lingering effects after, getting the pain to go down was I'd always have leg pain to a degree. My leg would always feel like it was contracting, and I would always have dull back pain every single day. Now, collagen came out last year, and I thought, well, like any product, I'm going to take it. I want to try it. I've never been on collagen before. So I started taking it, and about 2 months in after taking it, I said to my receptionist one day, I said, I don't even feel my back or leg anymore, and I think you forget after a while. I was so used to it, but then I just forgot about it. I didn't feel anything. Year later now, going on July here, haven't felt any leg or low back pain. I went from not being able to do a lot of physical activity to doing back to my regular routine. Obviously modifying a lot of load bearing type activity. I'm a little more careful with that type of stuff, but no low back, leg pain since taking this collagen. It's been absolutely amazing for me. I'm playing with my kids, playing hockey. I can roughhouse with my older boys, and I couldn't do that before. But I tell you what, the depression you get from chronic pain is real, right? And I feel for everybody out there that goes through something like that, because I never want to go through it again. But this not only has been an answer for me, just adding collagen, and I'm always on the other products, but this also gives you an opportunity to talk to other people. 90% of the population goes through low back pain at some point in time. So there's a lot of people out there that we can talk to. And, not only do we have an answer for them for their health with our products, but, when it comes to practice, and if we get to the point where we can't practice anymore, what else are we going to do? So we have another option with this business with LifeVantage as well.
Wow. All right, John, I got a question real quick. So how long had you been having the squeezing of your calf?
About 3 years.
3 years. Okay. That's all right. All right. So I love that. Like, I love the fact, here's a guy that's a phenomenal chiropractor, super busy practice, and great adjuster, getting work done probably regularly, yet, and I do love as a dad too, I get it. You just work through the pain. As a provider, you just do it. You work through the pain, then you try to go home and do what you can as a spouse, as a parent, like just what you do. Now, what's fascinating is he was taking the products, like he was taking the Protandim, he's taking the Tri-Synergizer, and that was helping him to a point. But his body needed a collagen that was activated to take those discs and start repairing. Now, what's interesting, it was 2 months. 2 months, you said, from the time you started taking it to where you all of a sudden, you didn't notice the pain. This happens all the time. People come in, they're like, I'm not any better. I'm like, well, what about all these 15 things you had when you came in? Right? Oh, yeah. Right. So most of the time you start you don't realize what you don't have anymore. So I take these products because I really don't care if I never know what I didn't get. Like that's why I take these products. Like I want them in my body because of what's in my environment that I cannot control. But it was 2 months before he didn't notice the pain as much. And that's because the disc is a much deeper structure than we heard earlier. Somebody said their sour stomach was like 5 days than 15 days because your skin repairs it much quicker. Like it turned over much quicker than the discs of the low back. Right. So if you're dealing with somebody that needs collagen, which guess what? Collagen is the most abundant protein in your body. Everybody needs it unless you're eating the skin of fish and you're eating bone marrow regularly. Like you have to get it in your diet. You need this collagen, but it's going to take a period of time depending on the depth of the level. And in John's case, Dr. John's case, it was 2 months. But that's because the discs are such a deep structure. What I love about that too, and I would be surprised, John, you might want to measure yourself. Like, are you taller now? I don't know. Right. But when you're talking about that now his body, the outside of the disc can now rebuild, and now it can hold the hydration so it can take that pressure off that nerve that was really not happy. What a phenomenal experience that is to have that happen. And that's what's going on. But if you've got a deeper structure, we're talking about joints, tendons, ligaments, like that's a tissue that takes longer to repair than skin. You need to give it more time. That's awesome,
Wow.
John.
John, love you. So grateful. And who out here has ever had pain, mental, physical, emotional, but we push through, right? Every day we push through just to get through. We push to get through. I was there as well. And again, just so grateful that we have this and that we have one another. And that's why we have this mission here to share with people. So Sean, if you could share this quick video next regarding the beautiful brain that we all have, and then we'll get a little feedback as to the why behind this, please, Dr. Brett.
Hi, I'm Kim, and I have been using this new product, and my skin is feeling amazing. It is soft, what it's done for my eyes, but I tell you, what it's done for my brain and what it's done for, it's lifted the dark cloud that came over me when my mom died a year ago, and it's gone. I have back my joy, I have back my peace, and I feel so good, so good.
So this also happened with one of my very best friends. She said, I don't know anything else that this could be except for that, because it's the only thing that has changed. So I'd love to see in your comments if this has happened with anybody else, the feeling of joy again. But Dr. Brett, why in the brain would this be happening?
I'm going to share something really quick on my screen just so you can see a picture.
Awesome.
I think it'll help. And I love that story. Like it's just amazing to me.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you guys a story about the three little pigs. Okay. So if you live in a house, that house is made of something. All right. So that's house, and we all do the story of the little pig. The house is made out of straw, the house is made out of twigs, or the house is made out of bricks. Like, what kind of house are you building? And every membrane in our body, whether it's skin, which I'm going to show you a couple here, or a joint, okay, has a barrier membrane around it. Now, we think of a barrier as that it's just a barrier. So while it is not, it's a living, breathing membrane that lets things in and lets things out. And one of the key things with these little cells that you guys can see, we talk about these fibroblasts. That's what you're gonna hear. So when you hear the study coming out here in a little bit, you're gonna hear about fibroblasts. All you gotta know is that's the oven. Like that's where the collagen is made in these cells. All right. But they have a lot more, they're not a lot more than an oven. Like they help to make sure that the cells are communicating, and they control what's called the matrix, which that's the way in which the cells communicate. So without these fibroblasts, they're also part of the immune system. Like they help to regulate the environment that modulates how the cells communicate. It's super, super critical. So in the case with and I'll show you this picture here, a picture on the right, this is the blood-brain barrier. So for instance, in that story we just heard, there's probably a combination of several things that happen. When you lose a loved one, you should feel sad if you love them. Like that is normal, right? If you didn't, then that's super weird, right? It's going to be a normal response, but how long are we going to feel that? Like, how long are we gonna go through that process? You're always gonna miss them, like that's normal. But to where that feeling won't go away, a couple of things that probably happened in her case. Number one, her membranes that control the blood-brain barrier, which also is part of the immune system, lives here too. At any barrier, there's a membrane. There's a microglia that's part of the immune system. It's kind of like a fibroblast in the nervous system. Those cells are part of the immune response. So if they're inflamed and unhappy, they're irritable, right? And if that happens, you're just not going to be happy. So a brain that's tired or inflamed might feel sad. It might feel grouchy. It might feel angry. It might feel disappointed. It might get in that loop that just like always negative on self. So in her case, the collagen is needed in all these membranes, including this blood-brain barrier. That is probably part of it. And what a lot of people don't think about is collagen is a protein, right? And all the communicating molecules in our body are proteins. They're called neurotransmitters. So without the right proteins that heal the membrane, like in this side on the left-hand side of your intestinal tract, you cannot absorb the proteins that your body needs to have in order to make what's called serotonin, which would make you feel happy. So if you have a membrane that looks like this on the right, where it's all got these big old holes, they call it leaky gut. Okay, this is healthily repaired. So you heard that story earlier about the sour gut. That's what this was. So as her body started to have a process to repair, the sour gut, or it's not hungry anymore, went away. But what if that's happening in other places like joints? What if that's happening in the brain? That's going to be the thing. So that the age is the loss of functioning. So 3 things happened in her case. One, I think the membrane, you started seeing this membrane heal in the brain, and where the inflammatory process started changing. And then she was probably starting to absorb her proteins more because the gut lining started healing, and her body was able to absorb the tryptophan, which turned into serotonin. Now, you don't need to know all that, right? That's a cool thing. You don't have to know all that. It's fascinating to me to realize, like, maybe some of these people that aren't getting better is because they're not activated. Maybe their body knows how to get well, but we haven't removed the obstacles, and we haven't given them the right tools to turn the right switches on. Like, we know exercise is good for us, but I'm not 100% at that. I can be 100% at taking my tri-synergizer and my collagen, especially when I know these activate the normal cell responses, and then they work together synergistically. Together, not only, and you're going to see that Saturday, you're going to see, and if you're watching this recording, you're gonna now understand why we're seeing and hearing what we're hearing, because most of the people were on Nerf 2 Protandim before, but when they added the collagen, all of a sudden they started having better results. So we didn't know why that was. With the study, you'll know why that is. But the bottom line is it's a synergistic blend of how they work together. So it's so grateful that she experienced that. And I think that's probably what happened in her case.
Incredible. Thank you, Dr. Brett. I've heard that, like I said, from several people, and to bring back joy to humans, right, is, again, just such a gift. So Sean, if you can share the next video. Jesse couldn't be on live tonight, but he wanted to share with you. You know, it's so powerful, all these different stories, but does anybody out there know an athlete or somebody that just likes to compete or is wondering why their athletic performance has improved? Well, let's hear from Jesse as to what he experienced, and then Dr. Brett will give us the why behind that again. Are you guys loving this?
What is going on, team? So if you look behind me, those are bodybuilding trophies, and they're all first place. So when I compete in bodybuilding, I compete for one reason and one reason only. I compete to win. I want to win the show. So that means that I take, when it comes to supplementation, anything that is legal and ethical that I can put in my body that's going to help me put on muscle and lose fat. Now, 2018, started taking Protandim. Does Protandim alone just like help you gain muscle and lose fat? No, that's ludicrous. Nothing does. But what it does do is it helps you get into better REM sleep, or for me, in my case, get into REM sleep, period. So what that does is now we tap into the sleep science, and now we're recovering better, which is what I was doing. So when I recover better, I can train longer, I can train harder, I can train more frequent. And what happens when you train harder, more frequent? Because you're recovering better, you put on more muscle. your body is more susceptible to lose body fat. Absolutely huge. Look, I can't make a claim about anything other than the peer-reviewed studies that you've probably already seen on Protandim, but what I can say is at the age of 40, I had my best bodybuilding year ever, and I've been competing and winning shows since I was 18, in the year, whatever that year was. So it was absolutely amazing, and that's why I'd recommend it for really anyone, but specifically if you want to maximize output, you want to maximize yourself in life, you maximize your muscular recovery and your recovery period. Second big daddy supplement was collagen. Now, I really can't get into the nitty gritty and science of collagen because I used to not be a fan of collagen. Matter of fact, I've done videos like this telling people don't take collagen. But then I did dive into the science and I did start taking the LifeVantage collagen, partially as a favor to my wife, and it was absolutely bonkers what happened. So I also did powerlifting in my competitive career. And as a powerlifter, in the 181s, that was what I weighed, 181 pounds. You want to bench press 4 plates. They call it the 4-plate club. Okay, that's 405 pounds. I had trained for it. I had wearing all the wraps and everything. I had competed for it. I did the sniffer saw. I had competed many years in powerlifting, and I could never get to that 405, mainly because I get this twinge right here, and I'm definitely afraid of busting out like a pec or a shoulder and having to be put under. Really, really afraid of that. So I'd just be like, take it. I did get to like 365, 375 days, never got the big daddy, so I'd given up on it. Literally, gosh, this year, at 45 years old, after taking the collagen for 45 days, I just started warming up. My buddy's like, let's see what you can bench. You know, that's what guys do. And I got to 385. I couldn't believe it. It went up. There was no twinge. My joints felt amazing. I benched the 405. It was absolutely incredible. Don't doubt it. I've got it on video. It's something I'll probably relish the rest of my life just because of the fact that I had given up on that goal because I didn't think my joints can handle it. That collagen is it. It is it. I would highly recommend that. Achy knees, low back, shoulders, anything like that. Give this thing 45 days and watch what it does for you. Hey, you guys have a great growth-driven rest of the
All right, Dr. B.
I love that video.
Arms are bigger than my chest, I think, Brett. So how at 45 did he all of a sudden start breaking personal records?
You know, what I love about his video, it's so real, right? Because the bodybuilders can do whatever they can. So they, and I have to admit, I was like him, like, what's the big deal with collagen? Like, I just never saw a huge need or benefit from it, even though I know it was supposed to be important. But what is our potential? Like, so, what could possibly we do if our body was fully activated? So if the process of aging is loss of function, and loss of function is really equal to how well are you repairing, how well is your body making energy, how well are those cells communicating? If each of those are turned down, even 10%, you're 30% less of optimal, right? And that's the trisynergizer, nuts and bolts. But with the collagen with him, like, so what happened? Why did his strength increase at 45? Right. So if we look at the structure of our skin and our muscles, our tendons, our ligaments, that strength of those. So you think about a rope, one strand of rope, it's a certain level of strength. What if you kept putting more and more strands together? How strong can that be? Right. Or just think about just toothpicks. Like anybody can break a pencil. But what if I had like 5 pencils on top of each other? I couldn't break it. So what happens, and he said 45 days, right? So how many different layers of collagen and elastin did he start laying down that gave his body more integrity and strength so he could actually lift more? So his brain had the capacity to do it, but he felt twingy, like, because there wasn't the same amount of fibers hooked together to have the strength to be able to do that lift, right? So perhaps 45 not peak, right? What we know is at the age of 28-ish, your collagen production is drastically dropping, right? But is it dropping because it's dropping, or is it dropping because you're not taking an activated collagen, right? You're not eating collagen. you're not activating your body's natural mechanisms to basically produce the enzymes that help you repair. That's why we're aging. You age rapidly, you break down rapidly if those systems do not work. And I love that story, right? Because here's a guy, like, he's like, I'll just take it from my wife, to be nice to my wife, right? But to have somebody lift 405 pounds at 45 when he was trying to do that since he was 18 had nothing to do with his lack of training. He just didn't have enough fibers hooked together to have the actual like rebound effect or strength for him to be able to push that up. And that's unbelievable. Awesome.
So good. And we actually have the video of him doing that and his shock and awe. It was just incredible. And we have another girl, Tara, who the same thing, or Tara, that happened to her as a lifter. So very cool. Exciting, exciting. All right. We have got Jody. Jody, are you out there? If you can unmute and share with us what in the world has been happening with you. And then we just have a couple more and then we'll close up and Dr. Brett will again share Nerf 2, adding in the activated collagen, the why. And if you guys heard the LifeVantage broadcast that Lisa and Jesse had done a couple weeks ago, they hinted towards fibroblasts. And they said within this new research that collagen density had increased by 100% in 8 weeks. Let me repeat, 100% in 8 weeks. And they hinted towards fibroblasts. And I said, tell me more about fibroblasts. So we've been trying to research that a little bit. So Dr. Brett spoke a little bit about that already, but just something that's just another mouth-dropping wow to get excited for as we learn more this weekend. So Jody, are you out there and can unmute, please? I know she's here. And if we need to come back, we can. And you can text me if you're having any difficulties.
I'm glad you brought that up, Michelle. I was just kind of bringing that. So the 100% increase in density of collagen. All right. So think about what we just heard with Jesse. Right. So if you can increase the density and just think of that as the different, let's say the layer of that toothpick, right? Like, or that tissue, now you have 100-fold density improvement. You're going to be able to not only like lift more, but what if that's the density underneath those wrinkles you have? Or what if that's the elastin of a blood vessel or the support structure of an organ? We have 10 different types of collagen in the True Science Liquid Collagen. That means that your body, and there's fibroblasts in all of those. So that's why we're having people have all these different experiences with what they're feeling.
Incredible. So I know she had texted me and said that she got disconnected. So interrupt me, Jody, if you are out there and you can pop on. But in the meantime, Dr. Brett, if you want to maybe bring on Eileen, that would be
perfect.
Wonderful. She's trying to get back on right now.
Okay. So we go Eileen and her.
Yeah.
All right.
Eileen, yes. Thank
so
you.
guys, Eileen is, I have to admit, she's pretty much raised me. She came to see me early on when I started practice. And you call medicine practice because you practice. Right? You just don't have it all figured out. And I want you to hear her story, but truly a testament of strength and grit, but also a story of hope and just gratitude because it wasn't for a lack of trying. We just didn't have these tools when we started. So Eileen, love to have people hear your story.
All right, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Eileen, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to be here in this capacity because I didn't know this was even possible. So basically, 26 years ago, almost, I was living my dream. I was having my third baby. I had this beautiful family. I had all these dreams of what I was going to do with my kids, and I was going to be the fun mom on the block, right? All the kids were going to come to my house and play, and they were going to call me mom, just like that's the mom I grew up with. And what I did is I found myself in a health crisis. And I found myself on this roller coaster of up and down. And I found myself not being the mom I wanted to be. And it was very challenging and emotionally challenging. And I couldn't run with them. I couldn't make plans. I mean, I already forgot her name with the pirate ship. That was such a great analogy. But I couldn't make plans for the future because I never knew if I was going to wake up having a good day or a bad day. I was afraid of food and my environment because I didn't know what would tick off my body and create another crisis for me. And so basically I started into naturopath. I did the medical world. I tried to blend them. I did multiple therapies, and I wasn't promised a good outcome. I was promised by my medical doctor that we're just trying to stabilize you, not trying to keep you from getting worse. That was their only goal for me. And that just doesn't give you much hope. And I will tell you, to be honest, after 15 years, I put my dreams in the corner. I said, this isn't the life I was going to live, but I'm going to be happy where I am. I'm going to figure things out and just be okay with being in this space. And what that looked like was I did one task at a time and rested. If I made dinner, there was no cleaning it up. If I went to the store, I could only go to one store at a time because I had to hurry back home. I would come back home and be out the rest of the day. I mean, it was just, I lived on the couch about 9 hours a day and went to bed. So let's fast forward. So 15 years, I gave up. I said, I can't handle any more disappointment. 2 years later is when Dr. Brimhall found these products, and we started them on my daughter, and then I started on them, and I couldn't believe it. Within a few weeks, I found myself having more energy. I found myself being able to drive at night again. I found myself being able to do more than one task. And I was in a lot of unbelief, I'll just tell you, because I'd done so many things. After about 2 years, I finally started to believe that this was amazing. And it wasn't just a short-term fix. It wasn't just, oh, this is going to work for this amount of time and then it's going to drop off. This was something that was actually elevating my life and my quality and my hope for the future. As one of the doctors said, as each product has come out, I've added them, and they have taken my health to another level and to another level. And I'm just blown away, because where I was I could have sworn to you there's a cap on healing, or there's a cap on your health. Excuse me, I meant to say that. There's a cap on your health. I don't believe that anymore. I believe that the body is a miracle and it can explode. So let's fast forward to last year when collagen came out. I'm doing great. I'm spending all day vertical and not on the couch. I was not excited about collagen. Hair, skin, and nails. Okay, I want body function. I want quality of life. And I started on the collagen, and over the years, as you can see, I've lost the ability to raise my right hand. I walk with a limp. I'm blind in one of my eyes due to the process I've been in. But here's the thing. My Dr. Brad and my physical therapist said, your muscle tone. And I actually noticed hydration almost immediately in my body. And I found myself being able to walk better. I found myself being motivated to actually exercise. And I actually am exercising and being able to do things. But here's the best part of all, you guys. I have my first grandbaby. She's going, oh my gosh, she's going to be 2 years old next month. I have been able to babysit my grandbaby. The old Eileen would have had to be propped up on a couch with a pillow to even hold her as an infant. I have been so blessed to be able to interact with her, to be able to babysit her, and now honestly, she can outrun me, you guys. So, but I get to be with her. I can get down and off of the floor. I get to be here, and I'm so grateful for that. And so, thank you, Brett.
Wow. So, Eileen, love you. I mean, I am here probably still partially because of your story. Like when I saw that little guy I'd working with his, struggle with behavior and learning, I called her first. She's one of the first people, because I've struggled with trying to help her. It wasn't for a lack of desire or her part of trying. Like we just didn't know what else to do. And so if you're someone like that, just wondering what if, well, what I can tell you is that whatever level of quality of life you currently have right now, it's a result of how well your systems are functioning. And if you're not doing activation, in my opinion, you're not living your full potential yet, but you got to give it time. So especially in like, depending on what tissue type, what part of your body is struggling and functioning, like if it's intestinal, you'll probably feel some change sooner than that. But with Eileen, it was neurological. There was neurological stuff going on. Like she'd lost her vision, her night vision. She wasn't driving at night anymore. Like there were just things happening based on nerve function. And so what happened with the nerve too is she started, like all of a sudden she was going to my meetings and she was showing up at night driving. I'm like, what are you doing? Because somehow her body was doing things to where somehow with the nerve 2, the enzymes are being produced where her body was able to catch up. So we all have bills and we all make money some way. But if your bills outweigh your money coming in, you're going to live a lower lifestyle than you may want to. So inside your body, it's no different. The rate of healing is a result of how much extra you have. And so what I love about Eileen's story is that the nerve 2 got us to a point because her body was making the glutathione and the superoxidation, these big enzymes that help you repair faster, better than what we were doing before, because we were trying to supplement. We were trying to give her the ingredients to help her body make it, but we weren't turning on the switches, the ovens to make that. With nerve 2, we could now do that and not guess about it, right? And then using the axial to specifically help how the brain integrates. And then when the collagen came out, like, then she started gaining muscle strength and function back that we didn't know was possible, right? To where she was able to put weight on a leg and lift herself out of the pool. Like watching her play with her grandbaby, which her grandbaby does not like me so much anymore. Like I work on the baby goes better after I work on her, but she doesn't always like me, right? But she can take care of her, right? So collagen with activated collagen, and we talk about that muscle push for Jesse. For Jesse, yeah, he can lift 405 pounds. Friggin' amazing. Right? I think it's awesome. But Eileen can lift her grandbaby. Right? She can lift her grandbaby because her collagen structures are being formed in such a way where now there's more strength and elasticity in those tissues where she can now like be able to feel stable to lift that grandbaby up. That's powerful. Right. So no matter where you are. And the other thing she said, she started to know she's hydrated. If you're one of those people that are drinking water all the time and never feel hydrated, it's probably a collagen issue. It may not be an electrolyte issue. Without enough collagen fibers, you cannot hold on to water molecules. Like that's partly what you need. Like you have to have those collagen molecules hooked together in order to hold on to hydration. Otherwise, they don't hold on. That's why people can drink a ton of water, let alone if your intestinal tract doesn't have enough collagen, it can't form the tight junctions where it can absorb water. So there's so many, I mean, I go so many places with Eileen's story because we've watched her body be able to repair in different ways because it's activated. And we don't know what that ceiling is. One of the biggest concerns I always have for anybody, especially with that have gone through processes where maybe they've been diagnosed with autoimmunity of some kind, is when's the next flare up and how bad will it be? Right? And what's a blessing, like how many years now, Eileen? 8 years. And she'd been through a hell of a lot of stress. I apologize that word, but it's crazy. And every time before she'd have a flare up. Right. So that's the power of activation. And the collagen has just allowed all that to just blend together where now we can rebuild all those structures. 30% of your protein structure in your body is collagen. So if you're not taking an activated collagen, like you cannot rebuild those tissues to the level you could. So I'll stop now.
I know you could go all night. And Eileen, I hope you can see all the comments. There's so much love and prayers and praise that you can hold your baby again, and to the men that there is no ceiling on just vitality and health, right? That we have control, and thank goodness gracious for LifeVantage products that teaches us that we do have control. So you guys, I know this call we're going a little bit longer, but has it been worth it? Has it been of value? Has it been a blessing? Have you been able to write more names down? Yes. We have one more, and then we're going to share one other quick thing, and then we'll let Brett close and let you get back to your night. But I can't thank you enough, everybody that has been sharing, and those of you on the call, staying on the call, putting into your comments, and Dr. Brett for your wisdom and your brains and your heart. So Jody, I know you got back on and she's on her phone, and if you can unmute, we'd love to hear your story real quick. Sweet thing. Jody.
Okay, can you hear me
And
now?
Sean. There we go. We can hear you. Perfect.
Perfect. Well, my story actually starts back when I was in high school, so over 30 years ago. I have dealt with sciatic nerve pain since I was in high school. I was very active in sports and also competed horseback riding. I was a barrel racer. I've been a barrel racer since I was a child. My sciatic nerve pain got really bad when I was in high school. I had been to different doctors, done physical therapy, and the only thing that they could tell me was, here's some more pills, try these, we'll see if these work. So over the years, I didn't want to take pills. I just dealt with the pain. Fast forward to 2022, was the worst year yet. My pain was so bad that I didn't enjoy riding. I could hardly ride my horse without being in tears. Last August, it was so bad. My friend Fonda Nelson sat me down and we were talking, and she had just found LifeVantage herself, and she was telling me all about it. And that was one of the worst weekends I had had in 2022. I literally could not get off my horse. I sat in tears and waited for someone to come help me because I could not get off. I went to Fonda in extreme pain, and we talked to LifeVantage. I researched for a little while about it and pulled the trigger and have been so happy ever since. I started with the tri-stack. My sciatic pain got significantly better. I no longer had to wake up in the morning and walk my hands up my legs so I could stand up straight. I could actually get out of bed and stand up straight without pain. Once I added the collagen, it was a whole different story. I have no pain anymore. I can ride my horse and be happy. I don't have to worry about not being able to get off. I can get off my horse. Not only has it helped with my physical pain, but for years I've had problems sleeping. I work a very high stress job and my mind would never shut off at night. Since I have been on LifeVantage products and added the collagen, I can sleep without prescription meds anymore and sleep the whole night and not have any problems waking up and not being able to go back to sleep. So it has been a complete game changer for me. My knees no longer crack like they used to. I literally felt like my Rice Krispies were in my knees because every time I would stand up, they would pop and crack. From years of being a softball catcher, that's what I contribute it to. And they don't crack anymore. I have no pain in my knees. I feel amazing.
Wow. Ooh, isn't this stuff fun? So I thank you so much for that story, right? And I love that a friend brought it to you, right? And I think that's kind of at the core of what this is. And thank you all for being here, on a Thursday night and late, as long as this has been. But there's people that need to hear this, and hopefully there'll be more that be able to hear this. It took a friend. I love the fact that you did the research, you trusted the friend, you did a little homework, but then you pulled the trigger, and the difference in your life is. So I want to talk about a couple of things here. Number one, we go back to the same idea, like because her body is making those enzymes to repair faster, as well as making more energy, and then you give it the right activated collagen, her body can start going through that process of going in. I'm going to work on this area. I'm going to work on the back. I'm going to work on the knees. I'm going to work on the joints. Your body has a hierarchy of what's most important, and it's going to start working on those. And as that happens, then your body can be in a different state where it can function at a higher level, which means that it's aging more gracefully, where you can ride off into the sunset on your horse, right? And with being able to ride and do those things, that obviously has brought more joy back into you, which has probably quieted your brain some. So not only from just the physical aspect of how your body is absorbing the nutrients, probably your intestinal tract is functioning, and some of those medications that you're on were probably damaging some of your intestinal tract, right? Because that's kind of what they do with time. There's less stressors happening on your system, plus mentally you're feeling better. So there's a lot of different things going on. But the bottom line is, what I love about all these stories, we take about all these stories, right? And whether you're talking about someone say, hey, well, I with the catcher, right? So we've all had different injuries growing up, and your body's always trying to like repair them. It just is. But does it have the capacity? It has the desire, it has the know-how, but does it have the reserves? Does it have the capacity to do so? It's really dependent upon how activated it is, right? But you look at the variety of stories that we've heard across the board, different body type, different, male, female, ages, just, professions, locations. But the foundation, if the individual is a mammal and they're not activating their NRF2 pathway, which regulates the repair cycle of a cell and producing what's called antioxidants, and you're not turning on the mitochondria, which is the NRF1, which allows the body to manufacture more energy and make the energy producer called the mitochondria, and you're not producing the NAD, then there's a capacity limit that you're not getting the benefit of. And then you combine that with the collagen that helps support all the barriers of your body. Think of it, of all the membranes of your body, every cell that keeps the right stuff coming in, the right stuff not coming in, and the right stuff going out, where it can regulate and communicate and coordinate, and then actually start repairing those tissues. That's why we're seeing such a vast variety of stories and influence, whether it's somebody, hey, I just want a better performance, or I just want to pick up my grandchild, or like, I just want to be able to go to work and not hurt. And I'm going to say everybody say, well, how much did it cost? Right? That's going to happen. What is it costing you to live the life you are right now? Right? Or the cost of not living the way you want to right now. We all have a cost. There's stuff we're doing right now, whether it's the amount of physical therapy. And Eileen, I love Eileen. Like, I've cost her a lot of money, guys, over the years. I really have. Like, she's come to see me a lot. I make way less money off Eileen than I ever have. Right? Her physicians make way less money on her than they ever have. Right? Because if the body is able to perform and do the things that it's designed to do in a better way, we don't need that extra outside support. So to me, there's a cost of not doing these products that far outweighs the cost of doing them. But at whatever level you are, I'd say too, I'd rather you take a half a dose of everything consistently forever if you needed to budget. Because I feel you're gonna get much better results doing that than just trying to do something without this, like without activation. I just think that you're missing the boat. I think you're missing an opportunity that could drastically impact your life. So thank you guys all for your stories and for giving me a chance to go through this. And for those of you that love the science, you want to know the mechanism and the genes and all that, great. Dive into that, but don't share it with most people. Like, unless they have insomnia and they can't sleep, that's too much. Right? Share these stories, right? Share what their passion. And I love all these stories because it's helped remind me why I do this. Right? It reminds me why I do this. But if we aren't giving the people the chance, like, they're probably struggling and just looking for a solution. But yeah, read the studies when they come out, and they're really cool. They're really fascinating. But it just confirms what we're seeing. It confirms what you're seeing. At the end of the day, I would rather hear Eileen's story and see her pick up her grandkid than I would reading the science. And so don't underestimate the power of that story. So that's about all I have, Michelle. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to say, but
so real quick, Brett, what I want to do, because we could talk for another hour and people are loving this format. I can't wait to chop some of this up into individual stories so that we can send out the individual stories as well too. But I want to go through a couple pictures that we didn't get to. And then the last one that I'm going to show you, I really want to comment on why collagen affected this body the way that it did. So I'll show a couple pictures here. And then again, I want to hear from Brett on this very last one that I'm going to show. So as everybody ages, right? Let's agree. And I will totally say that when I first in the trial process of this product, collagen, I was in the trial and I thought it was a vanity-based product. I didn't understand what it had potential inside of the body. I thought it was just outward appearance. But as we all age, who wants to age gracefully? And I know this person, I've known her for a long time, and you can't imagine how ecstatic she was with this transformation. And we've seen this over and over again with people like Renee. Look at this person, day 1 to day 14, the dramatic impact that it had. And imagine that positive self just admiration that you have when you see these outward appearances, as well as all the internal stuff that we've talked about today. 86-year-old, day 10, day 24, day 45. This is what we're seeing over and over and over from people. Okay, we're in the summer months, right? Who wants to look good in swimsuit season? Like, the transformation of skin has been mind-blowing to me. And we see it again over and over again. Day 1 to day 28, day 1 to day 21, 3 weeks later. These are people that we know we've seen for years. And I probably wouldn't believe some of these if I didn't know these people. And then, I hit the wrong arrow. This is the one I want a little bit of comment, Brett, and then we're going to wrap this up. Again, we could go another hour. We won't, but I want to understand how this happened. This is a lady that lived with us from Spain. She's a teacher. She taught at our kids' immersion Spanish school. And this is 3 years, almost 3 years after she had a cesarean scar. And you can see the dramatic change that happened over about a month to a month and a half in time. So how is it that a 3-year-old scar could change this dramatically when she integrated liquid collagen, Brett?
Yeah, I love this. You know, what's really fun about this is you can see the change, wherein Jesse or Eileen, we couldn't see it.
Right.
We could experience it, but the same thing, the reason why Jesse was able to lift 405 pounds, the reason why you're hearing all these experiences where people, like, for some reason now they're half inch taller, right, is that your body has a hierarchy of what it's most concerned about. And what you're concerned about may not be what your body is most concerned about. And so if you have something that's been there a really long time, in my head, I'm like, what else is going on underneath that? The body's more concerned about. So when you start giving somebody that activated tri-synergizer, which I love, or the activated liquid collagen specific in her case, her body was now having enough surplus to where it's able to repair. I look at a lot of what we do with LifeVantage in the term of finances. What I mean by that is, like, what if you made 30% more money or 40% more money this month, or had 40% less bills? Like, what would that feel like the first month? Like, you probably breathe a little sigh of relief, but what if it happened the next month? And the next month, and the next month, whether that's 40% less bill or 40% more money, like, you're going to go, that's your body. So as your body fixes what it has to, like, puts the fire out, then it says, okay, now what's the most important thing to work on? Then what's the most important thing to work on? What's the most important thing to work on? So in her case, even though it's 3 years old, her body knew about it. It was so busy just trying to keep up with, like, we call it our collagen activates, replenishes, and maintained. It was so busy trying to maintain what was going on. It didn't care about a scar. And when you're seeing that scar change on the outside, there's all sorts of change going on the inside, to where I guarantee you she's feeling more loose, more pliable. Her intestinal tract is probably working better than it has in a really long time. She probably just feels like she probably very likely had some back issues and stuff like that. They're not there anymore, because all of that tissue tightness that you could see in her skin was actually throughout that whole area. Because when you have a scar like that, and remember, it was a C-section scar, so that scar went from the skin to the uterus, so it went through multiple layers, and that was there, all that irritation, inflammation, contracting was all throughout. You couldn't see it. So she had all of those things going on. She'd probably standing up straighter, right? So the reason why you see that, Sean, the reason why she's now having the result after 3 years is that her body is functioning better. So we go that age. If aging is loss of function, there's other tissues now that are functioning more optimally, so it can then start fixing stuff that's really, basically more cosmetic. So like you and I, like, we didn't want this to be a cosmetic type product, because, like, yeah, that's cool, like, it's pretty, but like I don't really care about looking pretty. Like, I care about, like, the emotional impact that someone can feel, like with that young lady's skin where the pigmentation changed. Like, the way that affects her and how she views herself, that's magical, right? And so that's why, in my opinion, you're seeing that in her. And so I think what else could happen if we do it long enough? So just to wrap up, think about Eileen, 8 years. 8 years. So had she stopped, which I hate to even think about that, like she would not be picking up her grandchild, in my opinion. Like I'd worked with her for 10 years before that, right? Right. So it's not a convenience. It's a necessity in my world to activate the person. If not, we're going to have a less of a life than we could. That's why my kids take it preventatively. It's why I do it preventatively. It's why I'm so passionate about it, because I truly think that there's a lot of people that could have a very different life if they understood activation. Just so you know, guys, don't feel bad if you haven't heard about it, because Washington State just talked about Nerf 2 in 2015, 17 years from the time it's discovered to the time it's used in modern medicine. So that's an opportunity in my world.
Love it, love it, love it. Live the life you dream to live. And if health isn't important to you now, wait until you lose your health. It will be extremely important to you. So when do you want to take care of it? This has been absolutely amazing, Dr. B. Tell Holly, thank you so much for sharing you with us today. I know that you're taking a lot of extra time. We didn't expect this to go so long, but it's been super, super valuable for everybody. And again, we just can't thank you enough for your knowledge, your expertise you're putting into, I think, very simple ways to understand what's happening, where we could get really into the weeds scientifically on what's happening, but you explain it in such a way the average person like me, a finance guy, can totally understand why it does what it does. So thank you so much, Brett.
Welcome.
Michelle, do you want to wrap it up?
No, that's it. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. Let's get out there. Let's bless. For those of you that are watching the recording, it'll probably be happening already, or would have happened already. But for those watching live, we are so grateful that LifeVantage has the integrity, the strength, the power to be at the NASDAQ in New York City tomorrow, closing the bell at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be proud, sing the praises. We've got science in PubMed.gov, which is the gold standard of medical research. We have people like Dr. Brett Brimhall and all of you here who stand behind their name, their integrity, their life and purpose. And is this not a mission that we can wake up every single day and go to bed every single night with people on our heart to make a difference and go out and share that? So be proud, go bless, write down a bunch of names, and thank you all. Thank you for your time. And again, Dr. Brett, thank Holly and the family, and thank you all. Each of you mean the world to us and are important and special. So thank you. God bless. Love you. Good night, everybody.